hey, congratulations for Mars One.
Thank you, man. What's up? How you doing?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. And I think you're doing great is because this is being showcased at Sundance Film Festival that started today. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, I'm so happy because the repercussion is so big. I'm very surprised by it, and I'm really overwhelmed by it as well because I know Sundance is big, but I think there's a lot of love coming towards the film because of the selection, because of day one, and I'm just so grateful. And everyone in the cast and crew are so excited to have been working so hard in this film, and now we have such a sensational premiere. So it's just happiness, man.
That is great to hear. I know you're gonna be very excited in a few hours. That's for sure.
Oh.
So Gabriel, let's ask that that basic question that we always ask is where the original idea came from for Mars One.
Yeah, actually, the idea came from me in the form of a scene. I was seeing an image in my head of this young black kid from the outskirts that was playing soccer, but at the same time, who was looking at the sky. I don't know exactly where this came from, but this came around the time when we had the World Cup here in 2014, and we had like a huge loss for Germany. We lost 7-1 from Germany, so it was like a huge blow in Brazil. And at the same time, I think as you might know, we were having like a big turmoil in Brazil in terms of politics and social understanding. We were struggling to find ourselves. There was a very intense moment in Brazil. We are dealing until now. It seems like this last 10 years were like a huge, intense moment for the country. So the film kind of is born in this way. It's related to soccer, but at time related to society and what it means to have a dream in such a intense moment, in such an intense place. So I start with this image from David, and I start to unfold this to the family and what they were going to be going through. Yeah.
I love the film is because the family is just full of dreams and optimism, but you had to like sink it all into reality. Can you tell us more about that? I mean, is that just something that we just strive for?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think when we shot this film, it was like 1 month after the election, and the election for of Bolsonaro for many of us on the crew and for me was like a huge blow because he's a very bad president, and he was already in the campaign very openly racist and misogynistic and homophobic. So he's pretty much everything this film is not in a way. And so to shoot this film was kind of also trying to reach this kind of passion and love that we have to overcome this, that we have to be strong to deal with this. And maybe the only way I could see this was with optimism. But of course, the script was already written before this election happened. So was already thinking about that in many ways. I was thinking about how can we deal when times are difficult in any shape or form? What can we do when our dreams or our expectations are kind of broken, which is the case for the father. So I think for me, it's like trying to reach some understanding with the other, trying to see where the other people is coming from. So I think it's also a film about empathy in a way. So I was thinking about those things. I think I'm an optimistic person despite living in pessimistic times. So this film is also a reality, I think, of how I see the world.
I especially love your lead actress who played Tercia.
Yeah.
In the film is because I found the character either she figures that she's incredibly unlucky or she's just incredibly lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I love Tércia. I think it's one of my favorites as well. And I think the path that she goes through the film, I think brings some enigmas to the film. I think brings a larger understanding of this idea of dreams in life because I I did a recent interview that I described ideas Tertius path as coming like she had an experience that she thought she was going to die. And I was thinking about what this will do to a person. They have this immediate feeling that you are not alive anymore. And this starts to change perspective about everything. And I think this is very interesting in a film that is about this kind of movement of life, this kind of idea to reach somewhere else. So she's also one of my favorite ones because I also, she sparks many thoughts in my head when I writing her and seeing her. And Rejane, the actress, is just wonderful. She's a longtime friend, and this is like her debut as a protagonist. She already done other films, but as a supporting character, as a protagonist. So I think she shines a very bright light in this project.
That is true. Now, the title Mars One, obviously it's based off the kids' dreams of space exploration and everything. But I find it ironic that that you went with that title with Mars One, especially the fact that Mars One is a real dream that ended up in failure.
Yeah.
because it's not happening anymore. Could you talk about that? I mean, it almost went along with your story in its own way.
Yeah, I wasn't predicting that, but I think the cool thing to when I curious because this was always the title of the film. There was never another title, and for me, always meant this idea of reaching something, reaching the unknown in a way, and exploring the unknown. And at the same times, we have this lot of trouble. We have a lot of troubles going on Earth, and we having this very big effort to go to another place. So it's ironic in a way, but at the same time has a sense of what drives humanity in a way. This project, this idea of moon and planets, I think this more cosmic perspective is something that for me, when I brought it to the title, it makes the film as something that is not there's not supposed to be seen just as this family story, but something that might connect to us all. So I think there's a kind of existential idea behind this idea of the unreachable that I think that is very interesting and is open. It's not some meaning that is just closed for me, and anyone can interpret it in the way they want.
Now, were you a Neil deGrasse Tyson fan? That's why there was a lot of references in the film.
I think in a way, yes. I'm interested in the way he talks about science. I think he made astrophysics accessible in many ways and fun for many people. And I think this is very interesting. Also, I thought it was interesting for David to have like this identification as also with a black man that is also a scientist. So there are many perspectives around Neil deGrasse Tyson that were interesting as a choice.
Well, you should send him to this film to watch. I'm
yeah,
sure he would appreciate it.
I would definitely try to find this bridge so he can see the film. It would be amazing, incredible.
Now it is very amazing that you know this all centers a black family you know in Brazil. Could you tell us, because we're not familiar with black you know storytelling in Brazil? Is this different or is this usual? I mean, could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, maybe your familiarity has to do that it's very new. We don't have a very large historical background of black filmmakers. I think the reality we are discussing also in the US in the past few years about representation, this is very true to Brazil. So we having this new generation of black filmmakers that most of them still haven't reached their first feature films. So if you're going to do a very large background in Brazilian history, you won't find like 20 or even maybe 10 feature films directed by black filmmakers that were actually successful at travel around the world. So that is a very, very, very small sample. So this is like a reality from 10 years from now. We had many historical important figures in Brazil in black cinema that paved the way for filmmakers like me. but we don't have a large number. This is very, very new. But at the same time, it's a very strong generation. I think at the same time when the gate starts to open, a lot of new characters starts to be part of. So this kind of film you are seeing in Mars One is not a very usual film. It's not a film that we can find a comparison of many others in Brazil. But I hope it becomes more common that 10 years we'll be having a different conversation.
So then this in film is incredibly more special because it is we're going to see it at Sundance, and that's what makes it very well.
Yeah, and this is kind of historical point in a way, because every time a film like this, and this film was funded by a fund that was specific for affirmative action for Brazilian filmmakers and producers, and this was the first fund that had this kind of perspective, and the last one. So this is also kind of something that we are struggling to have this fund again to come back. But as I said before, we are living through difficult times. But having this film being successful, I think, is another proof that we have to have support to Black filmmakers in Brazil, because we have a lot of stories to tell. We have many talented people. And yeah, I hope Mars One helps to bring this discussion to many people and bring this understanding.
Well, I find Mars One an absolute delight. Well, let me wrap it up with one more question with you, Gabriel. What's next for you? You want to continue with this type of storytelling?
Yes, in a way, but at the same time, I think every time I finish a film, I want to start something radically different. So I don't have a next specific project I could talk about right now, but I have many scripts from science fiction films to action films that I'm developing right now. So this kind of social drama that is Mars One is a kind of film that I desire to continue doing, but I want to explore other genres because I'm such a passionate spectator of films. I watch everything. I watch horror films. I watch many different genres. So I want to also explore this variety while I'm director and in the next film. So maybe I will try to do something very different in the next film.
Well, you are certainly a very exciting Brazilian filmmaker, Gabriel.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for speaking to us about Mars One. And once again, congratulations for having your film on opening day, opening night here at Sundance Film Festival.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for the questions.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.